Okay, so welcome to the conference with Le Cercle des Langues. I am Chanel Garcia and I will be presenting an absolutely wonderful conference this evening. So, this evening we are going to be discussing delighting customers, converting complaints into compliments. Tonight, we will be looking at various topics on how to correctly convert these complaints into compliments. We are going to be touching on ways, some vocabulary, some administration. At the end of the conference, we will have a question and answer. So please feel free to put your messages either into the chat or you can write your messages on a paper, your questions on a paper, and we will gladly answer them. So, welcome to this evening's conference. I will be muting everyone for the moment and I will open the mics again as soon as the presentation is complete. So, again, welcome to everyone and let's begin. So, we are talking about delighting customers, converting complaints into compliments. We are going to be covering 4 parts in today's conference. We are going to be first looking at what is customer service. So that's the first thing. The second thing we are going to look at is the pillars of good service. So when we talk about the pillars, we are looking at the parts that make up good customer service. We are then going to look at expressions for handling customer complaints and strategies for handling customer complaints. That is number 4. Okay, so the first thing we are going to look at is what is customer service. So, the definition of customer service is assisting and meeting the needs of customers. So, what's important when it comes to customer service is building trust and relationships. Now, some people aren't in the profession of customer service, but you maybe have some form of clientele, you maybe in some way or the other, you have a public that you are catering to. And one of the biggest parts of this is building trust and relationships. What is the definition of building trust and relationships? It's about establishing trust and fostering long-term relationships with your customers. And how can we do this? So if we look on the right-hand side, they give us 3 ways that we can do this. The first is with active listening. We have covered active listening in quite a few of our conferences. And active listening is when you listen to a customer and it shows that you value their input and are committed to understanding their needs. So that's what active listening shows. But what is active listening? Active listening is when you are present within what your client is saying to you. When we look at personalization, we get to know your customer and their preferences, and building loyalty. It's excellent customer service can lead to customer loyalty. So these are the 3 things that help build trust in relationships. When we look at personalization, what are we actually talking about? We are, for example, when you are learning a new language, a great professor is someone who personalizes those lessons to your particular needs. A great server is someone that when you arrive at a restaurant, they are completely completely open to listening to what it is that you like, what it is that you don't like. So these are the kinds of things that when we encounter people, it makes for a great story and it makes for great relationship building. We look at number 3, building loyalty. How do we build loyalty? We build loyalty by giving personalization and by active listening. So these are the 3 parts of establishing those relationships. So what are the pillars of good customer service? Customers having a great experience with your company, feel valued and treated respectfully, believe the relationship with you is mutually beneficial, they believe doing business with you is easy, sense that your employees love working there, and feel that they are a part of a strong, high quality community. So there are keywords that we can see showing up. When customers are having a great experience with your company, they will feel valued and they know that there's a bond that they are building. When they believe their relationship with you is mutually beneficial. So mutually beneficial refers to the fact that both sides are benefiting. So both the company and the customer. Doing business with you is easy. So many a time we know that when we are in the process of buying something or dealing with a customer service agent, we would like things to be easy and not a lot of administration, not a lot of paperwork, not a lot of technical difficulties if you are ordering online. So when it's easy, the customer is happy and it's really good for the company. Employees love working there. So that shows if employees are happy, that really says something about the company's ethos, so the overall statement, and a community. They feel that they are part of a strong and high quality community. When we feel that we are part of a community, it continues to build those relationships. So those key pillars: effective communication, empathy, responsiveness, knowledge, and feedback. So what are we referring to here? Effective communication, it involves clear and concise exchange of information between the customer and the service provider. So there's a beautiful diagram at the bottom that says, "See you next time, friend." She seems to be friends with a lot of our customers. Not really, she just likes to treat all customers like they are a friend. So when we talk about clear and concise exchange of information, this also means at time when there is conflict or at times when there is not only a good exchange. That really shows effective communication. How quickly do we deal with the situation? How quickly do we get back to our customer? Le retour, the feedback is always very important. And how quickly do we show our customer that they are valued and that we are seeing to their needs very quickly and of a timely manner, in a timely manner? These things are very important. Empathy. It's vital in customer service because it shows that you care about your customers as individuals. So if we read the diagram, it says, "I don't know why you like them so much. It's not like they wow you with over-the-top customer service. It's nothing big. They remember my name, they talk to my kids, and it's the little things that wow me." A beautiful example of if you meet someone who gives you good customer service, it stays with you. It's very important to come across people who give empathy, and it's such a surprise sometimes that those are the memorable moments. So empathy, if we want to give better customer service, empathy is important. So when we talk about empathy, we talk about understanding, we talk about greeting someone, we talk about really understanding someone's situation and where they are coming from. Our responsiveness. As I mentioned before, how quick do we get back to our customer? How quick do we resolve the problem or resolve the situation? This is something that's extremely important. So it's about addressing their needs promptly and efficiently. The diagram says, "I can tell this customer doesn't like us. He unliked, unsubscribed, unfollowed, and left us a nasty review on Help. Maybe we shouldn't have waited a week to respond to his complaint on Twitter." So we can see responsiveness makes a huge difference. And it also makes the person feel heard. It makes the customer feel as though we are paying individual attention, which is very important. Knowledge. Customers expect that the person assisting them has the knowledge and expertise to address their inquiries or problems. Now, this can be a double-edged sword. So I mean that there's a positive, but unfortunately, there are also times when we will not have all the information. And that is where responsiveness becomes an important part. Because if we do not know the information, what we can do is let the customer know, no problem, ma'am. I will find out as soon as possible and I will get back to you. And with that responsiveness, it almost makes up for the lack of knowledge. Because I always say that it is okay not to know. The best is that when we do not know, we do our best to find the information and to give that feedback to the client, because that also shows that we value our customer. Feedback. Encouraging and receiving feedback from customers is vital for continuous improvement. It's not always easy. We do not always want to hear feedback, especially if it's negative, but it does help us grow and it helps us see where we can improve on our customer service. So now we are going to look at expressions for handling customer complaints. So we talk about a complaint, an expression of dissatisfaction. So if you complain, that is the verb, I complain. But a complaint is the noun. And when we use it in an example sentence, we can say something like, we received a complaint about the noise level. Complaint is also quite polite. When we look at number 2, issue, a problem or concern. And how do we use this in a sentence? We either say there's an issue or I have an issue. So it's the verb to have. There's an issue with the billing on my account. Another word for issue could also be problem. So you can choose which one is more applicable to your situation. Number 3, concern, worry or a matter of interest. So this can be used as a noun or it can be used as a verb. We can say I am concerned, or we can say the concern is, or I have a concern. Example, your concern has been noted and we are looking into it. So it's just another way of saying that we would not say your matter of interest or your worry or the situation has been noticed, but it's better to say your concern because it also makes the customer feel as though they are being heard. Number 4, we have the word faulty. Now, faulty is when something is not working properly. So I'll give you an example. Maybe I have my phone and the screen is not working, or it's a very slow phone, and I say my phone is faulty. But it's also a way that the customer will probably tell you that something they have is not working for them. And they'll say the product is faulty and won't turn on. Another word we can use is dissatisfied. So dissatisfied with the prefix shows the opposite of satisfied. So I am satisfied with my purchase. No, I am dissatisfied with my purchase. Not satisfied or happy with the service or product. For example, I am dissatisfied with my purchase. Number 6, resolution. The action of solving a problem. Example, we are working towards a resolution. So this word specifically is a noun. However, we can say to resolve, it becomes the verb. We are resolving the matter, we are resolving the concern, but we can say that we have found a resolution. So, we are now going to take a look at expressions for handling customer complaints. So we have certain expressions. The first one, what do we say when we are acknowledging the problem? As we have discussed before, acknowledging the problem is so important. It is so vital because, as I said, it makes the customer feel heard. It makes the customer feel as though we are building a relationship and that there is someone who is listening. And there is no greater experience from a customer's perspective than to feel that they are being taken care of. So the first thing, how do I acknowledge the problem? I say, I'm sorry to hear that. Or I understand why you would be upset or you'd be upset for the contraction. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. What I love about the third sentence, thank you for bringing this to our attention. It's an acknowledgement. And when we thank the client, they do feel good. Thank you just automatically brings about a positive feeling, which is wonderful. Let's look at number 2, asking for details. Why is asking for details important? When we ask for details, it shows the client that we are listening, and it shows the client that we are noting what is being said so that we can find a solution. So how do I ask for details? Could you please provide more details? When did this issue first arise? And do you have any specific examples? Now, these are not the only sentences that you can use. There are many others, but there are keywords that give these phrases a little bit of an edge. So those keywords like thank you or could you please provide. So these are very useful sentences. Let's have a look at more. Reassuring the customer. Why is reassuring the customer important? Reassuring the customer is important because that is what creates trust. When someone is reassured, they feel comfortable and they feel as though they can trust you. How do we reassure the customer? We take complaints seriously. So that's a phrase that shows this customer you are finding a solution. I assure you, we will look into this matter. Your satisfaction is important to us. Let's look at number 4, offering a solution. Offering a solution will rectify this immediately. Would you prefer a refund or an exchange? We'll provide a discount for the inconvenience. Following up. Following up is important because it shows the customer that they have not been forgotten. And this is very important within a customer services domain. How do we show someone or how do we present a follow-up? We could use the sentence, has the issue been resolved to your satisfaction? Please let us know if there's anything else we can assist with, and we appreciate your patience and understanding. So when moving on to strategies for handling customer complaints, we are now going to take a look at number 1, empathize. As we saw before, empathy is a very important thing. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. For example, I understand how frustrating that can be. I would feel the same if I were in your position. So the word we are looking for there is relatability. Relatability. The customer can see that I can relate to what she's going through. And because I can relate, I am going to try my hardest to find a solution as soon as possible. Number 2, active listening. Focus on what the customer is saying without interruption. Respond to their concerns with understanding. And as I've said before, we sometimes do not have the answers. And if we do not have the answers, it is not a problem. The idea and the most important part is that I can let the customer know I'm going to find the solution and I will get back to her as soon as possible. So for example, the customer says, I've been waiting for my order for weeks. the response, I'm truly sorry for the delay. Let's check the status of your order. So, unfortunately, by this time, the client is already probably upset or angry or frustrated. So, we have to deal with those emotions carefully. Number 3, avoid negative language. A very important thing. Stay away from words that might escalate the situations. For instance, avoid using no, can't, won't. So, as you've seen in the previous examples, we were using words like thank you, I would feel the same, I am going to do my best to find a solution. We keep it positive because that changes the emotions, that changes how the client could feel. So, for example, instead of saying no, we can't do that, you can say, let's see what we can do to address this. Okay? So again, that use of positive language really affirms positive emotions and it helps bring about a change in how the customer feels. Expressions for handling customer complaints. So number 4, for offering solutions, not excuses. Even if the issue was not the company's fault, we focus on how to solve it. For example, instead of saying, the courier service lost your package, we'll say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. We'll send out a replacement immediately. Number 5, the follow-up. We ensure the issue has been resolved and the customer is satisfied. This shows you care about their experience. Example, hello, Mary. We wanted to check in and make sure everything is now in order with your order. Please let us know. So, as I said, there are many other sentences you could use. There are many other forms of vocabulary. These are just highlighting some of the useful ones or the ones that you could find could be most useful. Excuse me. So we have some modules that could help you out on the e-learning platform. For example, turning customer complaints into compliments. We've got the A2, remonter un problème, B1, B2, and C1, or passer un appel, that is A2, B1, B2, and C1. We've also got a great article from Le Cercle des Langues blog, and it says Les compétences linguistiques nécessaires pour gérer des clients anglophones. So before we end today's conference, it's also important to remember that sometimes we have a language barrier, and sometimes learning about cultural nuances and the difference in culture and how they speak could really help us to communicate more effectively, especially when we need to find a solution to a problem. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching the conference and for joining me. Do you have any questions or comments or something that you would like to share with regards to today's topic? Please let me know. I will unmute and we can have a chat, or you can put it in the chat if you'd like to. So let's have a look. So does anyone have something to share, or is everyone happy? No, everyone's good? Wonderful. So, as I've said, everyone will be sent the slideshow just after the Cercle des Langues conference. And I will love to see everyone next week. So thank you so much for joining me and have a wonderful weekend. See you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Bye.